right, fourth graders, Mr. Remedies back on your computer screens today, coming to you with our third mini lesson this week. As you can see right here, today we're talking about how some authors write to persuade you. All right? Still rolling along with our author's craft, so we're going to be examining some choices, some purposes that the author might have and make. So before we get into all that, you know what's coming up. We got to establish our learning goal. We got to see where we're headed and see how we're going to measure our success. And we're going to do that with a learning goal. Boom, right above my head. We are learning today, boys and girls, to understand that sometimes authors write books or articles to persuade us. Right? Along the way, we have some I can statements that you can use to make sure that you're getting the concept, such as I can define persuade and persuasive. I can identify a persuasive text. That's a pretty good one. And I can determine what an author is trying to persuade its readers to believe or do. As always, we have to really dive into some vocabulary. A quick vocabulary word for us today. So let's see what we have. We have one single vocabulary word today. We're talking about the word persuade. Now, persuade means to cause someone to do or think something by usually using reason or facts. And this is a very common word. You guys use this in your everyday life, whether you're at the toy store with your parents, or whether you're trying to trade some Pokemon cards, or whether you're trying to, really get someone to do what you want, or to give you something, or to buy something. The word persuade, the action of persuading people and things, is very common across our lives, no matter what age we are. So remember, persuade, if I want to persuade someone, I want to cause them to do or think something, and I usually use reason or facts to do that. Now we have that out of the way, let's dive in deeper. We want to really understand how to identify a persuasive text. Okay? Here on our computer screen is a picture of a book we've read, a picture you guys can check out from getepic.com. And we want to first ask ourselves, as we're reading the text, we want to ask ourselves, what genre is the book? What genre? Is it a fictional book or is it a nonfiction book? Okay. We want to establish whether it's fiction or nonfiction first. In this case, how can we reduce household waste is a nonfiction book, right? And most persuasive texts are nonfiction. Right? Let's say that again. Most texts that are trying to persuade you are nonfiction. Okay? So that's a good indicator. Realizing whether something is fiction or nonfiction is a good first step to realizing whether it's a persuasive text or just an informational text, which is a subgenre. Once we have that out of the way, so we know it's a nonfiction text, what is the author's purpose is our next question. What is the author's purpose? Are they trying to share information with me only? Are they trying to tell me the story of someone famous's life? Are they trying to tell events like a history book? What is the author's purpose? In this book, it is trying to make me do or think something specifically. So if I can answer those two questions with these specific answers, pow! Persuasive text. So pretty simple ways, not a very complicated process to help us understand or identify persuasive text. But there is quite a few more steps and skills when we address these. So let's look at some of those now. For our next step, we want to identify what the author is trying to get us to do or believe. So in household waste, what does the author want you to think about household waste? Think back a little bit. We've used it in a couple of different lessons. Ultimately, I can use my good summary skills and say that the author wants us to think that too much waste hurts the environment. Good skill there. Yeah. And a true fact. All right. Next, the question becomes, what does the author want you to believe or do? All right. So what do they want me to do about household waste? They want us to find ways to reduce, reuse, and recycle. So just by asking us this first question, what does the author want me to think about the topic? Then asking ourselves, what does the author want us to believe or do about the topic? If once we establish those, we have done just a bang up job of identifying a persuasive text and what it is persuading us to do. Now, we got that out of the way. Okay, and wrapping it up with a review. Hey, we had a short lesson today, but we jam-packed it with some useful information and a little how-tos. So, today we reviewed how authors sometimes write to persuade you. We talked about how the word persuade means to cause someone to think or do something. Then we said and discussed how most persuasive texts are nonfiction, but not all of them. And not all nonfiction are persuasive either, like biographies and stuff. We talked about the two questions used to identify a persuasive text, and those are, what does the author want me to think about the topic, and what does the author want me to do about the topic? All right. This has been a very quick lesson on persuasive text. Tomorrow we're going to dive a little bit deeper into some of the techniques that authors use to persuade you. And I will see you guys then. I've been Miss Remedies. You've been amazing. And don't ever forget that. See you guys.